Live from the Xfinity Mobile Studio, this is an emergency episode of the PHLY Eagles podcast presented by Bet365 and Ashley. I'm Bo Wulf, joined by Fran Duffy. And as I said elsewhere, Fran, I believe, listen, Howie Roseman is a man with vendettas who carries around beefs with him. He's got a lot of people I think, has grudges with, but there's nobody, and I mean nobody, that he dislikes more than the families of people who cover the Philadelphia Eagles. How are
you? It was one of those things where I'm like, I told Meg, I was like, oh, the Eagles made a trade, and my voice trailed off. I was like,
we were driving home and get there. I'm like, I'm going to have to do something when we get home. It's only going to be 15 minutes, I promise.
Yeah, that's right. But it's something to talk about, certainly.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what my initial reaction was, Fran, and tell me what you thought, because to me, this is classic Howie. When he sees a weakness, what it reminds me of, Fran, is the summer of 2023, when the Eagles entered training camp and realized that the linebacking group was bad. And they said, okay, we're going to sign not one, but two veteran linebackers. We're going to sign Miles Jack and Zach Cunningham. And at the time, I thought to myself, unlike every other national reporter, that reminds me of Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph when Howie attacked a need at defensive tackle in the middle of the 2022 season. And so now 2 fell swoops in a week for Howie Roseman, trading 7th for 6th and John Mechie for now Michael Carter and Jaire Alexander. Has he solved it?
I mean, look, he hasn't been this aggressive to address the cornerback position since draft weekend in 2024, with Quinyon Mitchell and DeJean. No, I mean, look, I think when you're looking at Jaire Alexander, I think a lot of people see the name and get very excited, but I do think that there are a lot of reasons to really temper the expectations here. You're not getting the 2023 version or 2022 version of Jaire Alexander. This is a player that has been largely a healthy scratch for the majority of this season for a defense that has been 27th in EPA per play against the pass and 24th in EPA per play overall over the course of this season. This has not been your classic Baltimore defense in the 2025 campaign. So, look, maybe he's an upgrade over Adoree Jackson. I think it's a similar kind of situation.
So at his best, which the Eagles are not getting Jaire Alexander as best, but at his best, what kind of player was he?
At his best, he was a true matchup corner. This was a undersized, he's like 5'10", 190 pounds, and could line up inside, could line up outside. Had that competitiveness and the quickness in and out of breaks. He had long speed. He had ball skills. All the things, honestly, to me, it was a top 5 corner in football. When he was at his best. Now, just going back and watching, because he's only played 40 snaps in coverage this year, so it wasn't too hard to go back through and just watch those really quickly. He doesn't move the way that he used to. Injuries have kind of taken their toll over the last couple of years in Green Bay, and that's why they were willing to part ways with him this summer, and why it wasn't a huge market for him in free agency once he did hit the open market. But he doesn't move the way that he used to. And it was a new defensive scheme. I don't think he looked totally comfortable. He played a decent amount early, got dinged up, and then has been a healthy scratch since.
He is 28 years old, which, before we get to exactly how this fits, it is an interesting reality check as you think about the Eagles defense, because this is a player who, in the beginning of his career, was talked about and thought about the same way that we think about and talk about Quinyon Mitchell and DeJean, right? This is an ace in the secondary who's going to be elite for a long time, and he was elite for 5-6 years, right? And so at once you're thinking, okay, it's a bit of a reality check that we can't just expect that DeJean and Quinyon are going to be amazing for a decade, and it's possible that whatever mega contract they sign after their rookie deal is going to age poorly, as Jaire Alexander's does. But it also, to me, then because of that, underscores you have these guys in the secondary who are playing elite and are going to be elite for a very short period of time potentially, and so it is worth cashing in your chips to go for this Super Bowl window, which probably won't last as long as you think it will last in your mind's eye.
Yeah, and a few things. There's the cohabitation matrix, right? So our friend Tim Kamanis, T-Mac pointed out on social media that Christian Parker, the Eagles defensive backs coach, worked with Jaire Alexander in Green Bay. That's the second time now that both of these cornerback additions, the Eagles have had familiarity on the staff. Greg Cosell pointing out with Ross Tucker late this week that Joe Casper coached Michael Carter at Duke, which is a really good point. And obviously, Joe Douglas drafted him with the New York Jets. So plenty of familiarity with both players off the field. I think when you're looking at Jaire Alexander as well, one thing I reached out to somebody that is in the building in Baltimore. I just said, like, hey, like, what's the deal with Jaire? Like, how was he this year? And it was all positive. Like, was still a vocal leader, even though he wasn't playing. All the teammates loved him. Everybody in the building loved him. So, I don't think this is like, all right, we're really kind of jettisoning him here. Jeff Zrebeck, who does a great job covering the Ravens over at The Athletic, had said, like, yeah, this was just basically giving him an opportunity to go and find a spot to play, because he was not playing these last few weeks, with a healthy scratch on Thursday night against the Dolphins. So I think when you're looking at Jaire Alexander, like I said, I think the best case scenario, if you're an Eagles fan, is like, okay, he is your backup outside corner, your fourth outside corner. And honestly, like, if I'm looking at musical chairs and reading tea leaves, I don't know if Adoree Jackson's on the 53-man roster by the time we get to Green Bay.
Well, I have one other question here about Jaire, because at his best, he also spent a lot of time inside. So do you think that this could be another potential optionality for, he's struggling on the outside in Baltimore. Maybe if we get him inside and he focuses on that, it all of a sudden becomes kind of a head-to-head competition with him and Michael Carter for if you do want to have Cooper DeJean on the outside, because you couldn't find a starting caliber outside corner in the trade market.
It's a great point, and I'm really quickly just going to go up and pull. Obviously, he's been primarily an outside corner over the course of his career, but he has played plenty on the inside. And so I'm just going to quickly, let me just give me a second here. I'm going to pull up how many snaps he has spent on the outside in his career. The other aspect too that I was thinking of, he actually visited the Eagles during the pre-draft process, came in on a 30 visit. And I learned on that visit, I spent just a few minutes talking with him. He actually was born in Philly.
I know.
It was a homecoming, and he caught me off guard.
I could not believe, having scoured very quickly, that we are the podcast that's breaking that. Can you believe that nowhere else on social media did someone mention that he was born in Philadelphia?
He was born in Philly. It's like a Bryce Young situation where it's like he was born here, but he was moved away very, very quickly. He said that on the 30 visit. I'm like,
you think you know something?
I thought he was messing with me. I was like, it was a group of us. I thought he was messing with us. I was like, I don't know. It turns out, like, yeah, he was born in Philadelphia. So a little bit of a homecoming there for Jaire Alexander as well. All right, so I've got his positional. I'm just going through PFF numbers here. So, all right, he has played in the slot. All right, so wide corner, 347 snaps. No. Let's give me a second. Yeah, these numbers are all jacked up.
Well, all right, you figured out. I will just talk for a second and mention that the Eagles are going to have some additional roster moves to make here, because now with this, they've also placed Azeez Ojulari and Marcus Epps on injured reserve, so that opens up one spot. However, they're going to have to at some point activate Brandon Graham, Nolan Smith, and Jakorian Bennett. So there's still going to be some additional moves that need to be made for the roster. I think there are some players who they are able to part with, and correct me if I'm wrong, Fran, if you disagree, but to me, this coming with Michael Carter, it signals to me that this is it in the secondary, right? I would be now blown away if they do something else.
I can't imagine that there's another move on top of this. Yeah, that would be surprising. I mean, look, I'm a little surprised at this one, right? Like I felt like they were probably done.
Does this trade make you feel worse about the Michael Carter trade?
No, I think that this is because it's a late round pick swap. It's a year in delay in advance, but it's a late round pick swap. But this one doesn't make me feel worse about Michael Carter. To your point though about the nickel flexibility, and it very well could be that they have that in mind here. He's played over 4,000 snaps on the outside. He's played just over 450 snaps roughly in the box, and then another 400 snaps in the slot. So plenty of slot experience over the course of his career. So it could be that this is a role they have envisioned for him, is come in, kind of trying to contribute at both spots.
All right, so let's be wrong here. Let's put our turkeys on who is going to take the third most snaps, or well, let's just say aside from Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, who of these 5 guys takes the most snaps at corner from now until the end of the regular season? So you've got Kelee Ringo,
regular season.
You've got Adoree Jackson, you've got Jaire Alexander, you've got Jakorian Bennett, and you've got Michael Carter.
All right, here's my. I'm going to stork rank it. I think that it's going to be Michael Carter, Kelee Ringo, Jaire Alexander, Adoree Jackson. Jakorian Bennett in between Jaire. Yeah, I forgot about Bennett. Forgot about Bennett.
Find a way to bury Jakorian Bennett.
Let's put Bennett after Jaire, before and above Adoree Jackson. To me, it wouldn't make sense for Adoree Jackson to be on this team by the time we get to Green Bay.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm all the way there that he's definitely going to be cut.
Unless they're going to put one of these guys on IR, like if Jakorian Bennett's going on IR or Kelee Ringo.
Because you're going to need. I mean, I would be a little bit surprised. I know they've got a whole week, but I would be a little bit surprised if they're shotgunning either Carter or Jaire into the lineup right away. And so you might need a short-term answer, but I mean, it could be Ringo, it could be Jakorian Bennett. I think I would go. You went Carter 1?
I went Carter 1, yes.
I don't know. Because that really means DeJean to the outside.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think that Jaire necessarily means that.
They definitely have flexibility now to go a number of different directions.
I don't know. I think it might still be Ringo, or it might be Jakorian Bennett.
It might be Ringo.
Honestly, I guess I should put turkeys on this because I said it, but I feel terrible about the proposition here. I would go. Let's go. I'm going to go just like the pick value that they've given up recently. Yep. So I'm going to go 23 Jakorian Bennett.
Wow.
21 Jaire Alexander. Okay. 20 Michael Carter.
Wow.
19 Ringo. Whatever left on Adoree.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't feel good about that.
Yeah, no, it's going to be obviously it's going to be a huge topic of discussion over the next 10 days, but that's going to be fun to track.
All right, I don't think we need too much more here, Fran. But any final thoughts, and do you expect anything else from Howie?
Yeah, I mean there was the report from Diana Rossini at The Athletic that they're sniffing around pass rusher still, and still. I mean they got 3 days left. So you've got Jermaine Johnson with the New York Jets, Jalen Phillips potentially with the Miami Dolphins. We know that Bradley Chubb. I mentioned on Friday's show there was the report from Charles Robinson from Yahoo about Myles Garrett, but the last line of his statement there was that the Browns are more open to trading running back depth or defensive end depth. And so I wonder if there's if Alex Wright from the Browns is someone that could be
the German dancer,
a young player, expiring contract that would make some sense. They got eyeballs on him. So that would be another pass rusher. Certainly I keep an eye on as well.
Jonathan in the chat says, is it possible that Bennett suffered a serious setback in practice? Certainly possible. Would explain.
You could say the same about Ringo and Adoree. It's like if one of these guys could be hurt and we don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever happens, whatever Howie does, you make sure that you know that the PHLY Eagles podcast will be there for an emergency to react, whatever it is. Make sure that you like the video, scratch our back for scratching yours. Comment below. Let us know where you would put your turkeys on who's going to get the third most snaps at corner for the Eagles the rest of the season. That'll do it. Make sure you check out the Flyers post-game show.
Yes.
Brenna's making it all happen. She's going to be producing that bad boy. And that's all we got. Enjoy Game 7 tonight. For Fran, I'm Bo. We'll talk to you later. And as always, we love you.